Is the Prime Minister right? Is this all your fault for going on strike, and should you now take the offer?
I think it's very irresponsible of the Prime Minister to pass the blame so overtly when he's trying to retain us as staff. You know, this dispute has been going on for more than a year now. And to say that it's just the junior doctors' fault for the failure of both parties really to come to a agreement, I think it's very irresponsible. It's very disrespectful towards junior doctors. I mean, if you want this workforce to stay in the NHS and uphold the NHS, then this is no way to be speaking off them and to them.
I mean, you talk about the importance there of retaining staff. What do you make of this out this morning that says that nearly half of NHS workers are spending time looking for work outside of the service? Does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me, but I think this is something the whole country needs to really think about in terms of why we're in this position that we are in. For me personally, I remember my very first week after joining the NHS thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to leave this place. And I think we do have a culture in the NHS of making even new staff feel very uncomfortable, just because they're sometimes put in situations where they might not be trained enough, they might not be experienced enough, but they have to deal with situations which are beyond their pay grade and also beyond their experience level. So in that way, I do think it's not just about pay, it's also about the way the system is run overall. And what we need to do is support and, really at that very early stage, not fill the minds of young people in terms of new doctors, new nurses, with cynicism and regret of joining the NHS.
I mean, obviously, the issue junior doctors have got primarily at the moment, the one that can be sorted out, is money. But there's that in itself, even if that's resolved, it doesn't sort out working conditions, does it? And we were talking to a neurologist earlier on who said, well, with the NHS, politicians need to put more money in and stop tinkering at the edges. Do you agree with that, or do you think that actually some reform is necessary?
Look, the more money you put in, the more red tape there is going to be in terms of where that money is put and accounting for it and all the rest of it. So I don't think just putting more money is the answer. I do think, however, that paying your staff appropriately, listening to them, making them feel valued. And if it's not pay raises, then at least make their work environment more comfortable, at least reduce some of the burden of all the unnecessary, non-patient related paperwork that we have to deal with. Make the job more about what we came in to do this job for, which is patient care. And I don't think we spend the majority of our time focused on what we should be doing, which is patients.
Rishi Sunak has spoken directly to junior doctors, telling them to accept a pay offer as it's the most generous for anyone in the public sector anywhere. How close do you think this is to a resolution?
I don't know if this will be the final offer, or if this is going to carry on, because we've seen this now for a whole year. And personally, I can see that there is dwindling faith in whether strike action is going to really be resolved by the Tory government at all. But I do think that maybe there needs to be more discussion around, if there isn't enough money there, other ways that junior doctors can be helped. We know the MPs get other perks, for example, expenses that they can claim, and various other perks, essentially. And we're also public servants in the same way. So, if it isn't necessarily a pay rise, give us something else to work with, potentially.